very dangerous road. I felt like he was gonna. I felt like the comment was left field. I hear him about preferences, but everyone's got preferences. You know what I mean? And I didn't hear her say only. I just heard her say she prefers. Unless there was more to the clip and she said she don't do black men or something like that, then I felt like I felt like it was just a little bit left field. I don't know if he was trying to shoot David out personally because he felt he had to defend Michelle. Maybe he got the problem that we don't know about Pascal. He out here defending certain people. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's you know what I'm saying to you. Like that's a comment left field. Like maybe Pascal likes white women. That's why he's doing that. You know what I mean? Like it's left field. So it's like I felt like it was left field, but maybe you saw it differently. What's your thoughts?
I think he was reminding him because I said it right on this channel. I don't think that David would have stood a chance with Michelle had they not been in that environment. I think that environment was ripe for them to get together. So I think it was low key petty. I'm not going to, I'm not going to pretend like it wasn't petty, but I think, for them to just so openly disrespect the maths process like that, and then just be lying on top of lying on top of lying, and then bad lies on that, and try to like pretend like they weren't doing things that they were doing. I think the experts just wanted to remind him, and remind her, like, hey, we didn't even think you like black guys. And then she had that same look on her face. I mean, I was shocked that they went there, and I think that she said it. It's like, and it's similar to that Jeannie Mai comment. The Jeannie Mai comment where she was like, black guys are for the side. And when she was talking about her preferences on that show, and the clip went viral, I think it's very similar because that's the thing. I think, and she later admitted it. She was like, yeah, when I thought about for a husband, because I have dated black guys, but when I thought about a husband, I wanted a white guy. So I thought it was good. I thought it was a good reminder for David of what his woman said and how she feels. I don't think does it do I think it makes her racist? No, because every race has a right to be with its own. So I didn't think anything of it from that aspect, but I thought like, so whatever this is you got going on, this a little fun, this a little escape that you have going on. Let's see how long it lasts. Let's see how much you want to really make a future and a family with that.
To me, it just didn't seem like a really good conversation because isn't that the premise of the show? You supposed to date somebody that they think would like that you probably wouldn't date on the outside anyway, like that they're hooking you up with. Like I'm sure Madison probably wouldn't have dated David or dated Alan if she had her own choices. I mean, her dad's made it very clear the first day that that ain't her type or that ain't what she goes with. I'm sure a lot of the people probably wouldn't go with their spouse. I mean, Camille wouldn't be with Thomas. To me, it
That's
just
what I would
seemed
say. Yeah.
Camille wouldn't be with Thomas. She wanted a roughneck. She wanted a YN. To me, it just seemed like Pastor Cal was really trying to. I get maybe his anger took a little bit more of the sense out of him when he was trying. He was trying to drill a point that I didn't think needed to be made. I didn't from that clip that she said. It wasn't saying that she only wants white men to marry. It just made it seem like her preference was white people, but she did. She said she dated other people, but I don't know. I just felt like Pastor Cal was a little bit. Um, he was reaching a little bit.
White people created this race, so skin has nothing to do with skin tone. What if you're they created white and black to distinguish people and to create a hierarchy. So when they did that, the nuance is for us to understand where different people come from. But at the end of the day, if you're not white, you're black, you know? And, whether you're Asian or then you have, the Indian folks, they fall somewhere in between, but it's not like they get special privileges or they get a pass. So when they asked her what she likes, if she was into anybody other than white people for a marriage, she would have said it. She would have said, oh, it doesn't matter to me. Because maths, the one thing they don't do, and they've said this before, which is why sometimes they've said they've had a hard time casting black men, is they've had a lot of black men that want white women. So they said that's why they've had a hard time finding people, finding especially men, black men that wanted black women. So they don't play, they'll play with everything else, but they don't play with your racial preferences. And if you look back in that clip, I think it was either Dr. Pepper or somebody, they said that. They said, well, we don't want to experiment when it comes to race because we understand whatever, whatever. So they don't play with that. She said she wanted a white guy. They gave her a white guy. It's not exactly the white guy she wanted. That's where they're going to play with her in all the other areas. However, race is very nuanced. It's it, it's something that at the end of the day, back to what I said in the beginning, it's something that is made up. So yeah, if we sit here and try to like splice and dice it, it's not going to make sense.
Like you're talking about is in general what white people might see, but I'm saying to you that, like for instance, the way you broke it down, right? The way you broke it down, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm looking at it from the perspective of what she said. She said first of all, the words were, and I think we have to be very careful not to put words in her mouth. She said, "I prefer." It's a preference. And we have to make that very clear. It is a preference. She prefers that particular aspect, right? And didn't work out with the Allen guy, and she chose someone like David. But that's why I said that, again, this was more, I feel like if we're talking about this, I think we're talking more about skin tone than actually ethnicity, or I don't know how you class it as a race, in a sense, or I should say that word better, right? Because naturally when you see someone stereotypically, if I say a black person, you're looking for the skin tone. Most people are not even in depth to even understand when we're talking about ethnicity or talking about even phenotype or etc, right? We don't because that then goes into colorism and all that kind of stuff. So even within that spectrum, like her choosing someone like David, I didn't think it was out of the norm. Like, you know what I'm saying to you? Like it didn't feel like it was out of the norm to choose someone like that, because again, we're saying he's black, right? We're saying he's black. But I'm saying to you that when you look at him stereotypically, he looks exotic. And I use the word exotic on purpose because that's what white people tend to use when they can't place you somewhere, right? They use this word, they're exotic. You know what I'm saying to you? They use that wording for you, right? It's like for instance, even, and black people do this too, when I think it's really problematic to call someone exotic. But you know, when you're like, you're black, but you got features that are not necessarily black, quote unquote, to say. So it's like people make those exceptions. So that when I saw her with David, I didn't think it was that mad of a thing. Like,
One makes that declarative statement, that means their preference is to be with white people. You know, it's just like somebody asks you, Kojo, you're going to say, my preference is African, right?
yeah,
Or my preference is
it's
black.
black.
And that's
Yeah,
it. You know,
it's
that is
only black.
a very definitive. Whereas her, she has dated, you know, so whereas the differences for you, she, you know, you probably haven't dabbled there and others, but at the end of the day, you want what you want. So yes, her statement might have been a little hesitancy also, because think about it, for white people to sit up on national TV, which she knows this is going to air at some point, and could the footage could be brought out, it's always a little bit of like, I don't. But at the end of the day, they want what they want, because you see who they pair them with. They pair, and that's why he brought out that evidence, because these people have been lying all over the place about everything. So it's like, hey, we want to, just like we did it to Michelle when they asked her what were her preferences and what kind of guy she wanted, and they roll back the bean footage. So they needed to roll back the bean footage for Madison, and also to put David in check, because he needs to be checked, because there's something about him going on his thing and saying he wants a blonde woman, looking how he's looking, you know, and just to say that is specifically what he wants. And then when he got one that didn't like him, his wife, he then jumps over to another one who gives him some attention. So they are highlighting something, which maybe they did it irresponsibly, I'll give it that, but it is something to be talked about. And the way David shows up gives all the markers of someone who probably had some challenges with his identity growing up, not necessarily fitting in, and then wanting that white gaze and doing things to get it, and you know, bending himself into a pretzel in order to fit in and get the approval and like of white people.
Specifically was that she prefers a white man, but she's open. That's what she said. So when we start putting words in her mouth, I said, okay, we can think that, but we still have to be open, because she said what she said, that she's open. She prefers, but she's open. I'm not going to tell you I'm open. I'm going to tell you they better be black, and there is no openness. I'm definitive. You know what I'm saying, Joe? And most people will probably say they're definitive. She left it open. She said she prefers white, but she's open. Now, we can say that maybe she is saying that just for TV. You know what I'm saying to you? Just for TV. But I'm saying that I'm leaving that a little bit open. Do you get what I'm saying, Chuck?
There's Blackbird. You know what time it is. Time it is. Time it is. Time it is. Time it is.